Welcome to PWU, the home of patriots. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine National Anthem. Empowering. Inspiring.
I can be a motivator.
Achieving. Winning. Showcasing the lives of winners.
My name is Akiko Thompson Guevara.
For country and home. As we proudly celebrate the legacy of excellence, we honor the late Senator Helena Zay Benitez on her birthday this June 27, and PWU proudly presents the launch of the book, Winning Still. Essays from the Philippine Sports Landscape during the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, the University President, Mr. Marco Alfredo M. Benitez.
Our distinguished Olympians, athletes, coaches, sports personalities, and writers, Coach Noli Ayo, who conceived of this book project, Ms. Gang Badoy Kapati, the book's publisher, members of the PW community, friends and guests watching on our social media, good afternoon. Over 100 years ago, 102 to be exact, 7 Filipino women started what was then Philippine Women's College, which would eventually become the first university for women in Asia, founded by Asians. It was their vision that Filipino women would eventually play a much larger role in society and nation building. Through the years, PW's mission of holistic education grounded on cultural heritage, personal integrity, family solidarity, and community participation drew much following. In the 1950s, the university began accepting male students, and to this day is fully co-educational. While many of its firsts have been in the line of education, student government, music, dance, and the arts, it has also had many winning moments in sports history. From 1933 to 1947, its swimming team held the National Women's Swimming Championship crown. In 1940, it won the first ever National Women's Field Hockey Championship. The past decade or so had seen many more sports achievements, with the Patriots varsity teams in badminton, table tennis, men's and women's volleyball, futsal, and basketball gaining recognition in many of the tournaments they had participated in. And while these may not have been as prestigious as the tournaments our athletes, coaches, and writers had won in, these were proud winning moments nonetheless for our burgeoning sports program. I first learned about the book from Marielle sometime in the middle of last year. She told me that she had been active in the weekly talks organized by Coach Noli, which gathered many like-minded athletes, coaches, and sports personalities, and which eventually led them to put to words their experiences during the pandemic. We realized that this would be something our community would definitely be able to learn from. We have all seen or heard about their exploits in their respective sports one way or another. Who hasn't heard about Heidelin Diaz, Akiko Thompson, Guevara, Ruben and Amit, Coach Jong Wichico, Coach Oliver Almadro, Coach Sandy Arespacochaga, to name a few. But it would have been something else to hear or read about the mindset, mentality, passion, attitude, resilience, and character they've developed, which have allowed them to be successful. More importantly, how these traits have helped them to cope with life in a pandemic. The past 15 months of the pandemic have been challenging not only for the PW community, but for the entire country and the rest of the world. Never in our lifetimes did we imagine being faced with a crisis of this magnitude. Not since World War II did the university face the prospect of shutting down operations, even temporarily, in response to a crisis. That was what was on the table last March of 2020. Thankfully, we had decided to push through with our school year then, and despite many days, weeks, and even months of struggling to adjust to the remote learning environment, intermittent internet connectivity or the lack thereof, unsuitable devices for online learning, the PW community and the entire country persevered. Our stakeholders, students, faculty, non-teaching personnel, administrators, and even parents all responded to the challenge in their own way. Our students continued to wake up each day, logged on to their devices, be it mobile phones, tablets, or laptops, and attended online classes. Parents, some of whom may have lost jobs, found ways to support their children, either by finding other sources of income or personally being beside them as they navigated flexible learning. Seasoned faculty rethought and adjusted to teaching remotely in front of their laptops or even mobile phones. And even non-teaching personnel learned new skills, some even new job functions just to be able to work from home. We did all these so that education could continue while minimizing the health risk from COVID-19. We had to pivot and adapt, otherwise we would not have survived. For the past 15 months, we've faced our daily battles, sometimes winning, sometimes struggling, but every day getting up a little better than the day before. I'd like to take this opportunity to give special mention to a few people. The late Rico Navarro, for whom this book is dedicated. I'd only worked with him once covering a game in Cebu several years ago, but he was a great guy, very friendly and likable, and a true professional. This book was his brainchild, together with Coach Noli Ayo, another person I've known for more than a decade, a true man for others, a catalyst and trailblazer. Last but not the least, Gang Badoy Kapati, the book's publisher, and also daughter of Miss Pura Badoy, who is as much a part of PWU as any one of our iconic women throughout history. Gang practically grew up here in our halls. She is as much a patriot as any one of us. Winning Still is a compilation of the stories, experiences, challenges, fears, and successes of these sports heroes, put into words during the pandemic. In it, you will learn about their thoughts on struggle, their motivation for overcoming challenges, their ability to change and adapt to situations, their perseverance, leadership, and their winning attitude, despite facing arguably some of the biggest challenges life had thrown at them. It is our sincere hope that by reading their stories, we may be inspired to dream as they did, work as they have, and with God's grace, win our everyday battles just as they do theirs. Ask any one of them, no big victory was won without winning the daily ordinary battles each day, when no one was watching. Similarly, it's by winning our daily struggle, attending classes, bouts with intermittent connectivity, putting in the hours of study, that we eventually become winners in our own careers. Congratulations, Coach Noli, Gang, the writers, and everyone involved in the making of Winning Still. May you continue to inspire the next generation of winners and sports heroes, including our PWU family. teaching us that regardless of our struggle or situation in life, it is our attitude that determines the kind of winner we become. Thank you once again and good afternoon.
Mr. Noli Ayo, the prime mover of the MWF sessions.
My name is Coach Noli Ayo of Ateneo de Davao University and convener of the Mindanao Peace Games. I have been privileged to work with the 25 writers of this project for more than a year now. I have nothing but joy and gratitude in performing the role as the caretaker of this very talented group. Thank you to Sir Marco Benitez and to the Philippine Women's University for generously hosting our book launch. What you will see unfold to us today during this virtual event is a result of the dedication, creativity, and generosity of the men and women of PWU. A great way to celebrate the birthday weekend of the late Miss Helena Benitez, an iconic figure behind PWU's success throughout the years. Special shout out to Tita Susie Benitez for being hands-on in the preparations for this book launch. This event will not be possible if not for the 25 sports leaders, athletes, coaches, and advocates whose thoughts, ideas, and reflections brought this book to life. Akiko Thompson Guevara, Ada Milby, Heidelin Diaz, Maggie Ochoa, Oliver Almadro, Maria Luisa Ginto, Pearl Menegelod, Victor Africa, Mariel Benitez Sabellana, Rubilen Amit, Robbie De Vera, Geraldine Go Bernardo, Paul Supan, Gian de la Cruz, Hernando Planels, Heidi Ong, Azli Guro, Russell Raypon, Belay Fernando, Jong Wichiko, Jed Diamante, Sandy Arespaco Chaga, Stack Savellano, Rebo Sagisag, and Popoy Navarro. My gratitude to your trust and patience for all the monthly meetings, writing sessions, podcasts, and other virtual gatherings we had to organize and endure to complete this once-in-a-lifetime project brought about by a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. I would like to say thank you to our publisher, Ms. Gang Badoy Kapati of Rock Ed Philippines, for the generosity to help fund this project and for finding Viviamo Inc. as the final piece to make this project possible. Your support gave us the final push that we need to really move our collaboration forward. There is strength and magic when the right kind of groups find each other. That partnership bear great fruits. Rock Ed Philippines and the Mindanao Peace Games once again proved that that line is true through this collaboration. As I close my message, I'd like to say thank you and honor the late Rico Navarro, a dear friend of mine who sparked the fire to write this book. Rico was a big part of that unique experience where all of us in this book found each other last year, the MWF sessions. These were 21 Zoom sessions from March to May of 2020, which convened more than 1,000 speakers, sharers, facilitators, and participants from the Philippines, Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia. Without Rico's trust, guidance, confidence, and belief in me, and in all the writers I mentioned, perhaps, just perhaps, this book would not have seen the light of day. Maraming salamat, Rico. Ang librong ito ay para sa iyo.
From where I come from, we say Magis morning or Magis day to all of you. So mayong buntag. I've had a chance to listen to one or two or three more here and there on separate occasions, and what we'll be doing right now. Number one, they were just like us. I've told the Kiko this many times. They were just like us. But I have a parenthesis. but they are not us. Okay, they are just like us, but I can tell you they are not us. Coach Nori brought out the book Outliers in our series, and I said tumpak very, very clearly, and that's what outliers are all about. Now, they may look like you, the guy next door. They look exactly like you, in fact, but they are not you. I mean, who could you, or how could you think of an Eric Bohain who, when given a choice between wanting to win an Olympic medal or wanting to be an Olympian or to be a Palaro gold medalist, at 11 or was it 10 years old, 12 years old, he chooses to go Olympics. And I've shared this with Com Erickson. Somebody like that, I mean, if that were me, I was thinking, oh no, because at that time I was also swimming, but I never thought about wanting to be an Olympian. At that time, I was also winning. At that time, I was also competing. But how could I never have thought about the Olympics when I was following it as well? But so only an outlier like an Eric Bohain, like an Akiko Thompson would think that way over and above us, shall we say, ordinary people. No offense meant, of course, to us, that includes me. No? And I'd like to move on to the second point that I've always followed here in the education business that we all learn from as well. And it's something that they also practice very well. No? My principal here at the senior high loves to quote that Harvard professor when he always says, in teaching, it's not what you know, but it's what you do with what you know. And there's a big difference when you talk to our teachers and to our coaches about this. No? And I'd like to repeat it. It's not what you know, and you can know so much. You can know so much about the course material and all that, but it's what you do with what you know, and that's what these Olympians did. What they did with what they knew they had is something inherent in them that really makes them so impressive. That makes them Olympians. That makes them extraordinary athletes. They're superheroes in this regard. And they did that. They just that. It's something so impressive. I wish we could follow here. And on our part, that's what we'd like to do right now. On our part, let's see what we can do also with what we know. Now, however, we find ourselves in very exciting circumstances. This pandemic has stretched to 7-8 months long, and through the course of through the course of the pandemic, we've had to be creative. You'll hear a lot about being significant, being relevant, get out of the box. And true enough, we've all been busy online. 6 months, 7 months online. The challenge here, however, is again, I know that there might be, in some situations, a case of baka may info overload na. Okay? I'll share with you a little tidbit, no? Even if the school is not a sports facility, because a school is not a sports facility, believe it or not, we actually prepared protocols already. He said, what if I were a sports facility and I wanted to open? So we prepared, I don't know how many pages worth of documents to show that this will be our health protocols, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Everything covered, from the thermoscan to this and that, testing and all that, just in case we open. But of course, we will never open. But I actually thought that to move forward, what to do with what we know is something that take that step forward, to do something about it. And that's something that I think we're at that level already. With the pro sport starting already, hina-hina na yan, everything will follow it. But so right now, as we think about it, again, the challenge for us here is what can we do on our part now to move things forward for sports? I'm not saying, of course, I'm not saying we go ahead sport, but there are a lot of things to look at right now. But that's a challenge I pose right now to all of us here as sports leaders now. Can we start getting things moving slowly but surely? But of course, following certain guidelines, following certain measures, following health protocols, so that we can finally get on track and finally really relate what we have all learned now to doing what we can possibly do. That's the message I have for everyone here, Coach Noli, and I hope I've been able to help. I hope I've been able to trigger a little bit of things here and there. But yes, padayon, the learning must continue. shelving of knowledge so much more important at this stage, while we are not yet in actual face-to-face combat, so to speak. So, daghang salamat and good day to all.
Everything is still. A million fireflies light up the world as people like you and me continue to keep awake, dreaming of winning in life's many battles. Yet, here we are, winning still, reinventing, inspiring, flourishing, influencing, leading. the publisher of Winning Still, Mrs. Gang Badoy Kapati.
What I really want to give today is the larger picture. You know how when they say there's a pebble that drops in a river and it ripples really large? This happened parang medyo opposite. Parang the large ripples happened and it ended up in this book, which is our one pebble that we're throwing into the sea of Philippine history. The large ripple is Mindanao Peace Games approached us through Nolly, of course, a long time ago, and said we have this dream of having a league and encouraging young girls in Mindanao to engage in sports and etc. And a large part of me deeply believe, because I was raised to believe, that women are strong and that they must have venues to display their strength. And sports is an obvious venue to display one's strength. But I also think that girls who become women, when we become women, also, we display our strengths in being gentle, in raising children, in cooking for friends, in cooking for, relatives, and preparing Christmas, preparing gifts. So, ang ganda ng strength ng babae kasi required din siya maging gentle. At na-realize ko, ang pinaka-gentle na babae ay malakas. And I want to say this, I know I'm old enough to no longer believe in coincidences. I really think if you do things and heed calls and challenges with informed and guided yeses, when you say yes to a challenge, you are brought to a place where you should be. And what better place for me to be in than in a PWU zone? Because my mother, who mothered me to believe in women that are strong, was mothered by PWU. Philippine Women's University highlighted so much in my home. Every time there was something of pride in the country and etc., my mom never fails to acknowledge that it was Philippine Women's University that planted this seed of pride of country and pride of nation in her. So for what better place to launch this beautiful project than in the PWU zone, in the space that I feel also mothered me by mothering my mom. So today is actually a dedication to how my mother raised me. Her name is Pura Ortesa Tiangco. That's her maiden name. She graduated from PWU Education, minor in math, 1954. And today, June 25, 2021, her youngest daughter is launching a book in a school that she loves so much, in a school that actually formed her, for which I am grateful. And all my siblings are grateful. So, Winning Still is a book that is a response to an unbelievable pandemic, an unbelievable occurrence that happened. Di naman natin na-imagine magkaka-pandemic, but can you imagine? Lahat tayo pinatigil. We were all asked to pause. We were all instructed to do not move, do not leave your house, don't even get close to someone near you because there is a virus. It's an unprecedented, uncertain time. And if you know the human psyche very well, it's certainty that really keeps us brave and alive. But I think uncertainty makes us braver. So if certainty makes you brave, uncertainty makes you even braver. So what a privilege to be part of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday group of athletes, Philippine sports advocates, Philippine sports organizers, managers, of course, even coaches. I just strayed into the community quite by accident because I was invited by Nolly as a supporter of the Mindanao Peace Games. And in return, I found a community that kept me grounded in the first 100 days of the pandemic. I saw them every MWF 10 a.m. And there's nothing more soothing than a repetitive vision of kind people, excellent people, people who achieve, who are going through the same thing as you. So this is a seed of that. I don't think it's right for me to say sinadya namin or it's on purpose. I think this book is a collective result of people who got together, however different, but the similarity is this. Wow, we're all going through something. Wow, what can we do? Instead of just saying, how do we survive? They actually said, how do we thrive from this one? And what an honor and a privilege to be the publisher of this book, Winning Still. On that note, I would like to read the introduction essay that I wrote for the book so that you also know what to expect or how to properly frame your brain when you finally hold that precious book in your hands. And I begin. The tragedy of this country is that there are not enough athletes in government. Maybe I mean metaphor, maybe I mean literal athlete, but either way, the athlete is the most formed person. Because if you are to be mentally sharp and emotionally sound, your body must be part of it. So it's really the athlete that has the biggest picture of what it's like to be a whole person. If you are holding this book, or if you're about to hold this book and you are reading these lines and listening to me right now on Facebook or on YouTube today, June 25, 2021, or 10 years from now, if you're clicking it, and I'm probably long gone, you might be nodding in agreement. If you are holding this book, then chances are you know someone from the roster of writers. And what a roster this is. Let me tell you, most of the writers in this book probably never really won in that parlor game. You know, when we were children, it's called statue dance. Alam mo yung game na sa birthday party na may music tapos biglang everybody stands still. I don't think these kids won that. Kasi yung game sa party, hampasan ng palayok, spatial estimation of pinning the pin on the donkey, habang naka-blindfold, takbuhan, pataasan ng talon, pabilisan ng kuha ng nalaglag na barya or candy, doon sila nananalo. Kasi yung mga writers na to mabibilis, matataas tumalon, malalakas. Kaya lang yata na-invento ang statue dance para lang ma-accommodate yung ibang bata. No offense to the other children, of course. Of course, I say this with a light heart, but let's get to the bottom of this heavy gravitas idea. An athlete moves. In some way, shape, or form, we know that an athlete moves. How can she or he not? An athlete knows the rewards of winning, of waking up before everyone else to get the lion's share of pre-dawn oxygen. The athlete knows there is genius in repetition, wisdom in teamwork, humility in victory, and pride despite defeat. How can an individual shaped by sweat, rules, lines, obeying the referee, authority, speed, strength, solitude, and crowds, how can a person like that not be a good leader? It's almost impossible. If an athlete is true, an athlete can lead. These days are a little different. The Philippines welcomed 2020 with a volcano forcing communities to move and to mind the tiny particles that were spewed far and wide. 2020 found us knowing the difference between a particle mask and a normal mask. 2020 found us welcoming its numeric symmetry with nothing on our planners. A virus showed up, unseen. A global order said stop, and the world said stop moving. How do you tell motion geniuses, athletes of a nation that recently topped the Southeast Asian Games on an Olympic year to do nothing? How do you tell people like that to do nothing and that nothing will keep them safe? How does this happen? There are no answers. There are no answers. It just did. I still don't have answers. But look, we hold in your hands and we're launching today a book that gathered the men and women of speed, Isn't that a great line? The men and women of speed, the humans of bounce, and the individuals of heave, push, pull, glide, lift, shoot, strike. Here you have a community of living verbs asked for the time being to stand still. In turn, they grit their teeth, however grumblingly sometimes, geared up, woke up, gathered, and let their brains move. They let their brains and their minds jog with other joggers who were not allowed to do anything. They let their brains jump higher, heave stronger, swim swifter, run freer than they have ever done before. For 100 days, the athletes were writers and will remain to be writers for the rest of their lives, for they are today published. Here in your hands, you hold a book of action shots of their minds, their fears, the optimism and grit. Here in your hands, you hold a picture of their internal slow motion. How lucky you are, how lucky we are that we got front seats to this Olympics on print. You get to see the game. You get to see the game these athletes got that no one has ever seen just yet. Welcome to the real arena. This is the soul of Philippine sports. Sit down, get the book, read on, and allow yourself to be led by real leaders. This is Winning Still. It's a book, but it's really Philippine history. Thank you, Philippine Women's University, for allowing us to have this space to properly, appropriately honor and launch the work of all these men and women and the work that's yet to come for Philippine sports. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Winning is waking up each morning to take risks, to learn from your mistakes, to celebrate your small daily improvements. Continuous effort, not strength nor intelligence, is the key to unlocking your potential. Hindi madali ang buhay, pero patuloy lang. Let us keep winning still.
Being knocked down, missing the final shot, making the final turnover, I think that is part of winning, because it's really the ability to get back up, the ability to brush yourself off, to continue to battle and compete. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning for me is more of a journey, not so much a destination or the outcome, but really the process of coming out stronger, wiser, more sure and aware of ourselves. We come out kinder and more understanding of the world around us. It's the little everyday things, that make us say, I showed up and I gave my best, and that makes me a winner. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
It's about service and humility. So winning for me is about being able to inspire, being able to be a blessing to others, especially my family and my loved ones. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning for me is not about forcing myself to survive every day, but letting myself to listen, witness, and accept what is reality and what is present today. And thought of, what can I do to make each stillness day a noise of possibilities? Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning to me is taking any situation and becoming a better version of yourself together with those around you every time. No matter what the result, come out of it proud and with peace in your heart. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is about overcoming oneself, one's physical weaknesses, one's fears, one's comfort zone. That is really what winning is all about. Life is not easy, but we must carry on. Ultimately, let us keep winning still.
Winning to be truly meaningful must be winning over yourself. Ang pagpapanalo mo ay walang kabuluhan kung hindi mo ibinigay ang lahat mong makakaya sa pagkakamit nito. Hindi madali ang buhay, subalit patuloy ang pagsisigasig. Let us keep winning still and always through excellence.
Winning to me means giving all that you have every single time, no matter the circumstance. It's not focused merely on result, but on purpose. More important to me is not the actual result, but what or to whom you're winning is for. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
I apologize for by giving a non-definition, but because basically I think it's incapable of definition. Winning is an abstract concept that deep down internal satisfaction that only you can define. Because I believe at the end of the day, you're only ultimately answerable to yourself. Life is not easy, my friends, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is facing challenges head-on and conquering all your fears. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is a process. It's a journey. It's an everyday thing. There may be setbacks, but as long as you keep making that stride, moving forward, you are winning. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let's keep winning still.
Winning is the story of my desire, vision, and dream. Winning is being triumphant in my goal and my purpose. And winning is a habit of faith that even I haven't seen it, I believe that it will happen. So with purpose, faith, and goal, like in our games, life may not be easy, but we always carry on. Let us all keep on winning still.
Putting up a good fight regardless of the result. Being a better person and having a good attitude no matter what the outcome is. Being able to be gracious in defeat and humble in victory. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning for me is the joy of overcoming. Hindi madali ang buhay, pero patuloy lang. Let us keep winning still.
And winning has always been about doing the right things and giving it your champion effort, doing your absolute best all the time. So life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is very important, but we often forget that the journey towards winning is actually more important than winning itself. Life is hard, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is an attitude or a mindset in overcoming oneself, your trials, difficulties, and challenges to become the best you can be in your given circumstance or situation. Mahirap ang buhay, pero patuloy lang tayo. Let us keep winning still.
For me, winning is being able to share our skills and talents to serve others. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is never a singular event. It's born from years of hard work, character-building opportunities, and great support systems that will prepare you for that magical moment. Ultimately, to win is to find out what you are truly capable of. But always remember the higher purpose. Life is never easy, but let us carry on. Let us keep winning still.
Every day progressing about learning and waking up every day looking forward for the goals, and there is progress with my performance. And of course, winning its medal with character. Yung buhay kasi hindi madali. Mahirap ang buhay, pero patuloy lang tayong lumalaban. Let us keep winning still.
Winning for me is knowing I have done everything in my power under the circumstances I am in to become the best I am capable of becoming. I have always measured my success on having given everything I can for a worthy cause. Hindi madali ang buhay, pero patuloy lang. Let us keep winning still.
Winning is making the most of what you have and doing the best no matter what the circumstances are. That's winning for me. Life is not easy, but we carry on. Let us continue to keep winning still.
Let us keep
winning still. Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still. Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still.
Let us keep winning still.